right? This is like another sad news, well, technically speaking, is that the creator of BLAZBLUE, right, Mori Toshimichi, right, he's the infamous face well known for making all of like he is the infamous person well known for making absolutely just all of the BLAZBLUE games, right, from Core Phantasma to Central Fiction. He's got you covered on all of them. You even like BLAZBLUE Cross Tag Battle. He announced his departure from the company, from Arc System Works. After nearly working for like 20 years, this man has been working with Arc System Works from like October 2003. Well, nearly 20 years, right? If we hit like next year, that could be like his actual retirement. And this is Mortys Tsuchimichi's statement. I have something to report to all of our players. I, Morty Toshimichi, will be leaving Arc System Works, where I've been employed for many years. I was originally working for a company called PicPack, where we were involved with the development of Guilty Gear X. Oh, that's interesting. And from that, I transferred to Arc System Works and have spent working on many fighting games. I got to make my personal representative work in the BLAZBLUE series and got to connect with many players across the world during my 20-year-long tenure of working at Arc System Works. And this experience will be forever the treasure of my life. I have nothing but gratitude for the staff at Arc System Works, the various collaborators who have helped me, and of course all of the loyal players who have cheered us on. Truly, truly thank you. I'm leaving Arc System Works. I think that might cause a lot of worry for BLAZBLUE fans in particular. I truly apologize for this, that's what he says. In the future, I will keep trying to bring games to the fans in some way, shape, or form, and I'm currently making efforts in doing so. Please continue offering your support. So, you know, that's a very heartfelt, gratitude level essay / letter from Mori-san, right? And he is like the PR rep. He is the producer and creator of the BLAZBLUE series, as it says here, right? So, and of course, he mentioned this concerns people. This concerns fans who are BLAZBLUE fans in particular, right? Now, I'm gonna say this, right? Just because Mori-san is leaving the company doesn't mean that BLAZBLUE is going to end. And I'll say this as a statement. Even if the PR rep, the producer and creator of BLAZBLUE is gone, there will be new hires, new apprentices who will learn the lessons of Mori-san of making a BLAZBLUE anime fighting game and make it like something that emulates Mori-san. Not to like the teat of what he produced and created, right? He legit created BLAZBLUE and has been working on the BLAZBLUE projects for like 20 years. But again, BLAZBLUE does not live and die with Mori-san. It's the vast majority of BLAZBLUE fans, competitive players, all the other staff that have worked on BLAZBLUE, right? And you know, speaking of which, we haven't gotten a new BLAZBLUE like main title game in a long time. And no, the mobile one does not count for me. I'm sorry, Chuck, but I saw like the mobile BLAZBLUE game that they pitched out, and I was like, nah, bro. I'm like, yo, this is not BLAZBLUE. What the fuck is this like gacha looking shit, right? Even though the characters look like they from like a gacha universe, right? But I want me like a 2D like fighting game with in-core depth and like all that shit, you know? And it's been a long time. And the last like BLAZBLUE game, well, not counting like its own series, but the last BLAZBLUE game was BLAZBLUE Cross Tag Battle, and we haven't gotten a new BLAZBLUE game ever since, right? So, but you know when I look at this like statement, this sort of feels like the Ono situation where Yoshinori Ono from Capcom, who was the head PR rep for Street Fighter V for the longest of time, and even like before, like Street Fighter 4, was just like the spokesperson. He was just like the spokesperson. He announced his like retirement from Capcom, like I think like a year ago, and season 5 of Street Fighter was just situated down to Matsumoto and Nakayama-san, and we saw them on like the Capcom special programs, we saw them on interviews, we saw them in the development of Street Fighter V. So those two know how to deliver hype and, you know, just overall joy to Street Fighter fans, right? Because with Ono, not to be rude to him, but he would be the type to put out characters that are just like, you know, they're trolly. They're trolly. No one thinks about them often, but Ono likes them, so let's put them in. So I'm not saying that like BlazBlue like dies, you know, but it's still just like a sad thing. It's like a tear-filled goodbye from Mori-san. But does this mean that if Mori-san leaves, BlazBlue dies? Absolutely not. There will be a chance for BlazBlue to shine. When that sun will shine upon us, we do not know. We do not know the future of BlazBlue. Like I said, the last BlazBlue game was Cross Tag Battle, and we haven't heard anything from a new BlazBlue, like an actual BlazBlue game, ever since. That was like it. So let's see. That was like that news, and this one, fucking. It's Rollback Netcode. Oh, sorry. There you go. The other news that I wanted to talk about from CEO Taku Chat is that Rollback Netcode is coming to Guilty Gear Xrd Rev 2. This feels like oh, excuse me. I'm gonna say this right now. Guilty Gear Rollback Netcode is like the savior of a lot of like the fighting games that came out in the 2010s that did not have like good online, right? Like Ultimate Marvel 3, Guilty Gear Rev 2, KOF 14, right? A lot of those games relied on like frame delay netcode, and it's kind of, and also, you know, Dragon Ball FighterZ, that's like a good example and a perfect definition of frame delay netcode, right? The games with like frame delay netcode tends to like slow down, right? They'll like stop and you can't like input anything else, and the game just like is a slow mess if you have frame delay netcode. And now that we're in COVID era, right? And we saw like how Rollback Netcode really works out for games, and the first game to do that was Guilty Gear Strive, right? Because Guilty Gear Strive was initially planning to release the game with just, you know, the game, and that was it. But then COVID happened, and then fighting game devs in Japan started to realize that like we can't have players be frustrated with our netcode. We want players to feel like they're enjoying themselves when playing our video games. So they overhauled their entire network system and made Rollback Netcode. And Rollback Netcode which has proved since like Guilty Gear Strive can really work out, right? You can definitely play people who are forced to stay in their homes because of COVID actually play games like they're playing next to each other, and that's the power of Rollback Netcode. That's one of the things that like I preach about how to make fighting games good is, you know, get better online. Getting better online for a fighting game improves not only yourself but for others as a quality of play a lot. Like, you don't feel like you're slowed down. You don't feel like, you know, the temptations of like, you know, wireless play, relying on like a Wi-Fi connection. You just plug in your Ethernet cable and you have the max amount of play you could ever have, right? And they have a lot of tools that help you out, like how much is the ping of this entire match, right? How much is the ping? Or what is the rollback frames if you're playing in a match, if you're playing in a specific match. So Rollback Netcode definitely fucking helps, right? And so it's not just with like new games, but a lot of like older games are getting like Rollback Netcode treatments, right? First it started with like Strive, but Arc System Works started doing Rollback Netcode in some of their other projects, and their first one, which is like an old project, was Guilty Gear Accent Core. And everybody remembers that, like, you know, Guilty Gear Accent Core was like their first, not like their first, but like, what was it? It was their first planned test to see how Rollback Netcode really helps out in an old game like this. And you know what's funny? Rollback Netcode is actually like a hard update to implement on older fighting games, because you're retrofitting old games with a new concept. So that takes up a lot of time, and it's actually like true in this case, right? We've been wanting Guilty Gear Xrd Rev 2 for like God knows how long, ever since its release, but it was put aside because it has to make room for projects like Strive and all that jazz. But now it's like CEO Otaku announcement, and now that we got Guilty Gear Xrd 2 with Rollback, holy shit, now what else is left from the old school fighting game list that could have like Rollback Netcode, right? Because like in SNK's side, not only did they have like Garo with their fan-made Rollback Netcode Code Mystics, but they also implemented Rollback Netcode in some of their older fighting games. KOF 98, KOF 2002 Unlimited Match. Then there's what else did they add? No, I think that was like it. And then there was like Garo. Oh, and of course, Samurai Showdown is going to have the Rollback Netcode patch. A game that's like with a very die-hard fan base of Samurai Showdown players that have been sticking with Samurai Showdown since 2019, now can get like Rollback Netcode as like hopefully a free update. And you can get it on like Steam. And but of course there's like missing games as well, like KOF 14 and 13. They're also like fan favorite games that fans have been dying for Rollback Netcode in SNK. And of course there's well, Bamco's a different thing. I was thinking about Bamco, but Bamco's a little bit weird because they just like pump out like project after project, and they don't know really they don't really like our fighting game development staff. They just want to like pump out like an anime game after an anime game and just like create like units sold. But they can surprise us with Dragon Ball FighterZ, and last time we saw Dragon Ball FighterZ was at like Evo, and with I think it was like the producer who came up on stage for Dragon Ball FighterZ and said that like, oh, Rollback Netcode is going to be added into the game, right? But that's not like Bandai Namco. That was like the development team behind Dragon Ball FighterZ. So Bamco doesn't count. Excuse me. Capcom has been also well known for their Rollback Netcode treatments, right? Even though their first implementation of Rollback Netcode was in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, a game that nobody liked. It played well, but of course it's Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Nobody bought the freaking game. But then they start doing like Rollback Netcode to other games, like Capcom Fighting Collection, for instance. And recently they just got like an update and a trailer to Capcom Fighting Collection, an HD collection of fighting games. Who would have thought, right? So a lot of games are just like going to this like Rollback Netcode treatment, and you know, it's good in a way to have old school games like getting that Rollback Neko treatment and revitalize the fan bases of old games. Oh, and I also forgot, like, we were just talking about BLAZBLUE, right? Rollback Neko was added into BLAZBLUE Central Fiction and BLAZBLUE Cross Tag Battle. I tried Central Fiction, but I didn't try Cross Tag. Maybe I should, just to give it a try and see. But yeah, they just got like the Rollback Neko treatment, and the BLAZBLUE Central Fiction like popped off. Like a lot of players were definitely playing that game. Yeah, but it's good to have Rollback Netcode in older games, but I would not recommend that, like, oh, if you're playing like a fighting game, right, at least like something of like an old one. Oh, my bad. Sorry, just like checking that stuff. Holy shit. Implementing Rollback Netcode to an old school fighting game is good. And as a new player, you want to be excited for like a new game. But there is like the cautionary like plank of wood in front of your face that caution, sweaties are around. Right? If you have, and this is like one of those old school fighting games that if your game is like old, then you're gonna be encountering like diehard fans that have been playing this game from day one, and it's not that good for, let's say, like a newcomer or a casual to come into the game and just like be totally washed by them. And sure, right? For the other side of the spectrum, those like sweat lords, right? They are happy to see like their old games getting a revitalization back. And of course, casuals can ask them as like, you know, personal coaches to how to help them like play the game. But you know, like generally, if you want to have just like a good time, just like playing it, just on like a casual level, you're not gonna have fun if you play someone that's like high above like your skill grade and just like lose constantly, right? You know, I always say that in order for you to improve, in order for you to get better at fighting games, the main thing I always say is that, well, practice is one of them, just like fiddling around with like trading options, but the one thing I always say to newcomers for fighting games, play someone with a similar skill level as you, right? If you're a newbie, play someone who is a newbie. If you're intermediate, play someone who is intermediate as you, because you're learning off of each other, right? If you fight someone that's like intermediate, you fight someone that's like a newbie, you're not gonna have a in-depth learning process of getting better at a fighting game. You're just playing the game in an intermediate level, and you're fighting a casual who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. If an intermediate player fights a adept like advanced player, right, then you could like learn something, but right, and this is like coming from my experience, fighting with like pro players, like you can have like a good time, like go to like a first of 10, but like it starts to like wear you down, like loss after loss. Like you're not really like learning, you're just getting like bullied, and you're not learning like fundamental skills. You're not you're not learning after like beating so many like new players. You just don't. So that's why I always say, like, that's why I always love Guilty Gear Strives' ranked system. Outside of like the park, because park is just, you know, casual friendly matches, ranks don't matter. But back then, fighting games, you would go to like ranked match and fill out like, you know, 1 or 2 parameters and you fight somebody. but the matchmaking can be a little bit stupid because you don't know who you're fighting against. And half of the time, you either fight new players or you fight very adept pro players. And fighting against the pro may be good if you have that motivation, that drive to like learn, but you sort of feel like, I don't want to play this game anymore after like 10 or so like losses. Like, I'd rather like take a break and step away. So Guilty Gear Strive's ranked lobbies allow you to connect to and play against a similar foe that's with a similar skill ranking as you, and and you just have the best like learning environment you have, because not only is the opponent learning skills from you, but you're also learning skills from him/her. And that's why I always say, like, fighting against the same level, fighting against an opponent with the same level or similar level as you, not like old school fighting game terms, but like around like here, is so important. Because fighting games, you need to learn. You can't just like honestly like whack and like have like a good old time. That's good for like a casual level, right? That's good if you don't want to like play the game anymore than what you have already like spent, if you don't have like that drive. But if you do have that drive, if you want to like learn, if you want to learn how situations work, then I always say go for like a player that go for like a player that is learning as well as you. Not like a casual level, but like an intermediate level. You're both learning new skills about each other, but also like the characters that you're playing. So with Guilty Gear having like a Rollback Netcode update, right? It will like entice like the sweaties, but if you love the game, then go for it, right? It is like an old school fighting game. It's definitely one of those fun fighting games that have been through the ringer before Strive, so it is really cool to see Guilty Gear Xrd, a very visually pleasing fighting game that came out at that time, and it's just super fucking fun. I still have like memories of like just playing like old school Leo Whitefang, doing like crazy combos and shit. So remember playing fucking Raven and fuck, who else did I play? I think I only played like just 3, right? Leo, Raven, and Biken. That was really much it. I don't think I played anyone else.